Hey guys, happy Wednesday night. Hopefully a few of you will pop on with us and come hang out. So I was looking back, like Facebook memories. And it's crazy sometimes to think just how far or how much difference like a year makes. So this time last year, Josh was getting the keys to this house and doing a live video walkthrough. It was crazy to see our house clean and without all of our stuff in it. It just looked so much bigger, and he had masked off with masking tape where the couch was gonna go or where this was gonna go or whatever. And so it was just funny to see the difference of our home before it really felt like a home. And I didn't even see it until the day we pulled up with the moving truck. So Josh actually came to North Carolina. You drove for 3 days.
Don't do it. If you're ever, thinking I'm going to drive across the country in 3 days, don't do it.
Hey, Jenna.
I ended up sleeping in
Hey,
some
Kelly.
mountain in Colorado, and it was snowing, and I was freezing in my car because I was so exhausted. Don't do it.
Yeah, Josh drove 3 days from Northern California all the way to where we live now, which is a couple hours from the East Coast. So literally from one ocean to another in 3 days. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, Lord, just protect him and bring him there safely. And because we have way too many kids. If he leaves me with all these children, I will come bring his butt back. So I was back in California. We had sold our house in one weekend. And I was with kids losing my no joke, guys, really literally having a mental breakdown.
It was a dark season, actually. I mean, God was good, but it was dark. Oh.
Yeah, I see my posts from back then. I'm counting down the days because he was gone for 6 weeks. So he drove across the country. I feel like we need to backtrack just a little bit, but so my brother came to visit us. It was after Christmas. It was in February.
We went cross-country skiing.
I didn't. I stayed home with the kids. Smart woman.
Smart.
I was so out of shape then. I would have died in the mountains.
I almost died in the mountains.
So
Steve is a machine.
we were sitting around our dining room table, and my brother just kind of threw it out there hey, what about moving to North Carolina, Josh, and starting a brand new profession and that you've never done before.
The genius I am was that'll never happen. God wouldn't do that.
Nikki.
Anytime you use the phrase yeah, okay, if the Lord wills it, and then he does.
Well, the funny thing, I think for the last 7-8 years, I had been telling my brother, you will never get me to North Carolina, ever. I am not leaving California. This is my home. This is where I live. You will never get me to move. Yeah, never say never.
Here we are.
Here we are in North Carolina.
Oh.
So we
crazy
kind
world.
of prayed about it, and I was yeah, let's do this. And if I was completely honest, I don't know that I actually prayed about it in the right way or as much as I should have. But Josh is better than me, and he actually did. Hey, Tina. So
it was one of those things where you're I feel baiting the Lord, where you're okay, Lord, if you open this door, I will walk through it. And then he does, and you're oh gosh. And then you're well, if you open this door, I'll walk, kind of those Gideon moments where, and then you realize you're well, I've kind of committed to following him, so, woo!
So we did all these projects on our house before we sold it. I think there was one day I threw a paintbrush at Josh, and I was I quit. I am done with this. This is not happening. I don't like you. And I threw a paintbrush at him and quit and stormed off. It was a rough season. It was rough.
That was the beginning of rough seasons.
That was the beginning. I don't even think I realized that I was already not.
You want
in a
to
great
know
place.
what your marriage is made of?
Decide.
Sell your house and move cross country. That'll tell you.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys remember. I think we shared a lot of like what we were doing to our house and all the projects and you know what? Now that I know more about real estate, like we were idiots. Our real estate agent was probably like, "What are they
What
doing?
are they thinking? Like, no one does this.
Just sell your freaking house. Why are you painting the whole thing?"
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think for me personally, I needed to close that chapter of that house and I needed to see it done. All the projects we had opened up over the last 3 years, oh my goodness, I just needed to see them
the
done.
hardest part, I will say, was like we've talked and we had dreamed. How many of those projects were things that we had been talking about for like years? And and then you're like completing them. It's like,
Miranda,
this is a house finally in the place we want it and we're selling it.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I was pissed. I was a little pissed. I was like, are you kidding me? We finally got this done and we could have done this like years ago. Like we finally fixed our deck and it was like so nice out in the front yard. We finally like got mulch and like made our front yard look super nice. We finally freaking painted our house
Threw
inside
away
and out.
all the junk in the backyard. There was like 7 trips to the dump.
Okay, now you make us sound like hoarders or something. It
wasn't hoarders.
We just
like,
had a lot of like
chicken coop,
just stuff.
Just
when you've
stuff.
lived somewhere for so long, you just acquire a lot of stuff, right?
A lot of it was like, construction material. Yeah.
Or like old playground things or whatever. It was just stuff. So the beginning of our story was we sold our house. We got exactly what I felt like God told me we were supposed to get for our house.
Which is
was
another
weird.
one of those things. You're like,
I
okay,
was
Lord, it has to
pissed.
sell for this amount. And then the offer comes in, and I was like, saw that coming, and
Hey,
there was a
Kelly.
little animosity there. Like, really, Lord, really?
So, Josh was very on board with the God thing. It actually was a very angry season for me, honestly. It was a really hard season because I was like all on board. And then the realization of like leaving like family and friends and routines and Trader Joe's, you guys, and Target.
In and out.
And In and Out. If you know In and Out, like I miss In and Out.
Neighborhood church, which is
And-
now the Pathway.
Mexican food. You guys,
Yes.
there's not Mexican food here. Or
really
like
isn't.
a lot of other things. It's just different. It's a different culture. It's different. We're learning that there are
was
new...
God breaking our heart of food, love?
You know what it felt like? It felt like being an onion and not realizing that you had all these layers that needed to get like peeled away, and like God just like literally stripping down all these like layers and revealing like the good onion in the middle. But there was a lot of tears. Like it was a very, very rough season. I feel like
And it didn't end at, like, the move was, like, that was just the beginning of
it was just the
the
beginning.
challenges.
Hence why I feel like we were all like excited to share like our journey of moving and this new like trusting God and like making this leap of faith. And then I just got pissed about it, guys. I got pissed. And so it was a little bit of a rough season. So we just thought we'd just kind of share the little beginning of our story.
Yeah.
And maybe as the weeks go on, we'll give you the rest of the
the
story.
the chewy, gooey middle center of craziness.
It gets good,
Depends on
guys.
how much we want to disclose.
We've-
Have the statute of limitations all, expired on everything?
It's a hide the dead bodies in the backyard kind of story. It's
is.
one that we laugh at now, but there were some hard seasons.
We do.
If anybody's a person
If any of you are people,
and have a faith and Jesus has called you to something and you're married and you have children, you have walked through maybe a
Yep.
harder season in life. So I feel like we are definitely coming out on the other side
I
stronger.
don't even know that there is coming out. I think we've grown incredibly, and not just in our faith, but I don't know. I feel like it's grown our marriage, which is awesome.
The East Coast struggle is
Yep.
real, Shelly. Shelly
When
followed
we do
us.
the international move, that will really test.
she's gonna start twitching. I'm teasing.
I can only do leaps of faith every 3 years. So I watch something's gonna happen. I'm not even gonna.
No,
I'm not even
don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say never anymore because
Nope.
Jesus wants to test me.
Can't
He's
do it.
like,
don't
oh.
pray those dangerous prayers unless you're ready to.
It's like a
See what
sassy
happens.
child when you think you've taught them a lesson and then they're like, they walk away with like the little sassy and you're like, you didn't learn anything. I'm gonna have to put
teach
you
you some more.
I'm gonna have to put you in timeout again.
Swear.
Anyways.
It is kind of cool though. Like, I mean, were we gonna show them our houses?
No, we have laundry.
Oh, laundry. Sorry, there's laundry, so you can't
We'll
see.
clean our house and we'll show
Then
you.
we'll show you. But yeah, it is kind of funny. Like, you know, beginnings, like humble beginnings of Blue Tape, figuring out what would be, and now it's our home, and we've been here a year and gone through a ton.
And guys, we have to move again because we're only I couldn't handle selling one house and then buying another and making those sort of decisions in that season of life. Like it was just enough to make the decision what was going in the moving truck. So
Hopefully, we can find a
and
good
that's
real
a-
estate agent.
we'll share our moving story with you. The time that I drove across country. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another
coming
story.
soon.
Coming
Yep,
soon.
Yep. To be continued.
Anyway, so we're renting. We just signed 1 year lease again. So we have a year, and hopefully we have more. We're just not sure yet. The family we rent from is military, so they never know if they're going to get called back
Great people.
and want their house back. So
They're gonna hate what we did with the place. No.
we're really praying for God to open those doors and show us what the next step is, and like where we will go after this, and what will be home after this.
Yes. So.
Anyways, hope you guys have a great evening.
Yep.
We will pop on again soon and share the
Yep.
next chapter.
Continue with the chapters of the story up until present day.
The Cub Smith crazy.
Yep.
Okay,
Lots of crazy.
guys, really quickly, if anybody has any tips on how to rescue a gardenia. I think I might
like
be
our
killing
watering
it.
system. This is like what we're using to sustain it is the ice cubes to like water it because we're so terrible about remembering to water.
Haley, if you're watching this, it's completely
totally
alive.
fine.
It's
The
totally
thing is fine.
It's totally fine.
Yep.
My daughter-in-law sent it to me for Mother's Day, and I think I'm slowly killing it. So if you have any tips for gardenias,
Have you guys seen the memes like where the woman's like got the plants that like loves and she's like, I'm gonna bring you home to die. Like,
I kill
That's us.
indoor plants. I can make the ones
We
outdoors.
got things
survive.
outside alive, but the indoor ones.
Does anybody else kill indoor plants? Anyways,
Might
okay.
just be us.
Send me all your tips on gardenias and how
Yeah.
to save them and make
Keeping
them
indoor plants alive.
grow. Bye, guys.
Bye.